Thank you, everybody, for coming back to the Riggs Beast channel. As always, let's go beast on that subscribe button. Let's go beast on that like button. And let's go beast on this week's Let's Talk Wrestling. Couple topics we're going to go over today. Nothing too deep because, to be honest, it's short on news. It's short on a lot of things to talk about, quite frankly. Let's go over, though, this Mauro Ranallo information that's come out. And Meltzer talked about it. It's been reported everywhere, so I really want to give more analysis of it. The basics of it, however, is really this all started with Jerry Lawler and how he used to call JR, he started calling Mauro Ranallo MR. Now, apparently, and I say apparently because this is rumor and this is hearsay. You can never be 100% certain on these things, so I will not speak in absolutes. When somebody says MR in the WWE, that stands for mental retard. So the real gist of the story is that Jerry Lawler on commentary with Mauro was calling him a retard live. And this was the starting point, and the JBL stuff was the breaking point. Like I said, I'm going with hearsay. I'm not an overreactor. I'm not a guy who hears something and believes it. Now, do guys like Kevin Dunn, Vince McMahon, and this company have really childish tendencies? Yes. So I could easily believe it. It doesn't shock me. Point of the story is this. If that is true, number one, it's petty, it's childish, and it's dumb, quite frankly. And number two, it is honestly a horrible culture and speaks to a bigger issue that wrestling has, people that talk about wrestling have, and that's with advertisers. And yes, I'm going back to this. It's getting better for other creators on YouTube and other avenues, but the average income of a WWE fan, based on reports, is slightly above poverty level. So basically what that indicates is most wrestling fans live in poverty level. Now, why does that matter? It matters to the advertisers that will broadcast on the shows. You see a lot of fast food, toys, etc. Content of the product. Now, this is where I ask a lot of people to look closely. Over the last 5 to 7 years, the content we have received has been dumbed down greatly. There's many reasons for this. Many. You could say too many cooks in the kitchen with writers. You could say maybe inexperienced writers. Or perhaps they treat you like you're dumb based on market research. That's right. Market research is done on the people who watch these shows, the age groups who watch these shows. Even the IQ of the average individual who watches shows is studied. And for a lot of people, this may come as a shock, but a lot of times WWE makes its content based on what they believe the intellectual level of the fan is. So when you've thought they're kind of treating me like I'm dumb, partially they are. Partially could it be due to a high school mentality? If that stuff with Ranallo is true, yeah, you can see it. If that kind of joke is funny, which is really not, then yeah, you could. It all ties together like this. Professional work environment should be key. Wrestling, it's a little different. It speaks to the next issue I want to go into, which is why I started and kind of segue this way. What can you as a fan do to help change a product? Here's what you as a fan can do to help change a product. Because you, quite frankly, me, you, everybody else who cares about wrestling, who loves wrestling as a whole, some may have a higher degree of knowledge of the wrestling product as others. Doesn't matter here. Merch you buy does help the wrestler directly. Not only just putting money in their pocket, with potential pushes down the road, because that's a major factor in determining where a guy goes, number one. Number two, if you want somebody changed, if you want it changed, you have to make your voice heard. Now, you boo loudly, yes. Problem is, you do it at the wrong thing. You want Roman to turn heel? Don't boo him. Say nothing. That's using your voice. You have to think on a different level than these guys. You want a certain guy to get pushed. You have to buy his merch. You have to make noise for him. You have to make him relevant. Social media, on TV, etc. That's the things you have to do. You do control the engine. It's not that they don't listen to you, because that isn't true. The problem is you have to look at the people who are listening the mentality of the guys who are listening and then react accordingly. It's hard to get a group of millions together, and most of this won't do it. But for the people listening and the ones who want to make a change, you have to think counter to what they do, which isn't hard. It's a mentality that's been going on for generations. It's the same thing that we had in the 90s, that was in the 80s. They just portray back to you society. We don't like society much, do we? We don't like a lot of stuff with the current product. Just think about that for a second and then react accordingly. I want to talk briefly also why Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton appears to no longer be a WWE title match. Now, I'm going to take the next couple seconds to toot my own horn, and here's why. You see, I got some pushback on Twitter, which I'm not surprised it's going to happen, when I put out there a random thought that perhaps Bray versus Randy won't be a title match. During Raw, it's on my review, and it's on my Twitter line. I got pushback for this and kind of treated like a moron. Fair enough. Until now, everybody's on the rumor train because we wait for rumors, most people. Bray versus Randy won't be for the title. Not so stupid now. Like I said on Twitter also, we don't need rumors here. We don't wait for rumors here. We don't just report rumors and talk about it. We tell you on this channel what's going to happen, why it should happen, but we do it with knowledge, intellect, and details on wrestling itself. We don't need rumors at Riggs Beast. We don't need to wait for them. We just know. Are we going to be 100% right? No. But just knowing the product, knowing the business and what people like to do and how the business works, you don't need rumors. But here's why it's changed. It's very simple. Brock Lesnar is the Universal Champion, which is a Monday Night Raw belt. So, Brock Lesnar, Universal Champion, not on the show. Bray Wyatt versus Randy Orton for the title. How are they going to sell you that match? Because you, as the fan, and even the most casual of fan can look at this and realize, well, if Bray wins and he's on Raw, they have 2 heavyweight titles. Bray can't win. So there's no point, zero, in having this match be a title. That's why I even came up with the concept in the first place on Monday. Because without being for a title, which, by the way, we'll get to in a minute, Bray at least can win the match. It gives you that sense of who's going to win. Now, why this is absolutely lazy, and it goes back to the superstar shakeup comments we've made. We've talked about it. I'm not getting into it again. You killed the feud when you moved Bray to Raw for potential matchups. It feels like with Finn Balor and a potential broken Matt Hardy. That's seriously what this feels like. You could tell it was rushed. Again, doesn't take a rocket science to figure that one out. You killed the feud with Randy Orton when you did it. So the man will never get a rematch for the title. This is the second time they've done this in a month. Kevin Owens loses the Universal Championship, mentions a rematch, never gets it. Titles can be defended in 30 days, have to be defended in 30 days until you don't have to. See, this is what I was going back to before with they treating you like an idiot sometimes. They use rules for storylines. They don't use them within the same month, 2 months. Inconsistent writing, lazy booking. It's because of the research they've done. And this is what they've concluded. This is the type of writing they feel is the correct intellectual writing they need to do. As insulting as that is, that's their reality. Can we change that? Yes, but we need a lot of people to change that. We need to get us bigger. We need to get a voice heard correctly. Not just Daniel Bryan-like. This needs to be on a grander scale. If you want this to continue, just continue to eat it. Just continue to eat it. It's not cheering and booing just necessarily the guys. As I stated before, you need to change how you consume and how you respond to the product. It's lazy. This whole Payback pay-per-view next week, which next week there'll be a preview and prediction show, is lazy. It's pointless. There's no build, really. There's no excitement. If you're excited for Payback, tell me why. Please explain to me on Twitter at the Riggs Beast. In the comments below, tell me why you would be excited for this upcoming event. They killed their momentum for Mania, 3 weeks. You get a month. They killed it in 3 weeks. There's one match that has a legitimate long-term effect. Reigns and Strowman. I'm not going to go over who I think wins. I already know. And that's it. That's basically it. Last thing I want to do, fix the Cruiserweight division. I've been talking about this one for a while. Here's the issue I've run into, why I kind of skipped it. You can't really fix the Cruiserweight division right now. See, a lot of people will come on, tell you how they would do something, and then that's the only way it would work. And if they don't do it, it won't work, and they're stupid. Well, let's be honest. We just talked about one or two issues way above the Cruiserweight division. We got lazy writing and lazy booking. What's next? Character development. What's next? Intriguing storylines. Now we get to Cruiserweight division. And that's before tag teams, women. You get where I'm coming from here? Sometimes you got to work in an order, and the Cruiserweight division ain't in the top 5. But I stopped at storylines because there is one way. There is one way they can bring life back to what is a dead division. Storyline. And not Alicia Fox double-crossing Cedric Alexander for Noam Dar in a stupid dating angle. Not kings and peasants. Though Neville's doing amazing work and TJ Perkins is finally in a correct role. No, what we need is a real life or art projecting real life, so to speak, angle. The old Eric Bischoff controversy creates cash. You need that shock of realism to get people interested. It's there. You can do it. You find a guy who has something from his past or something currently going on, a real life situation he's going through. Portray art here. And you have it project on television. You have it project within storyline to create buzz, to create intrigue. What is this? Get people invested, number one, in the person, number two, in the story. Will it tick some people off? Yes. Will it get interest? Yes. We could talk about moving 205 Live to before NXT. We could talk about increasing the time on television, etc., etc. We can talk about moving the Cruiserweights to SmackDown. It's all been done. It's all not going to work. It doesn't matter what you do right now. You can put 205 Live on Monday Night Raw. It's all 3 hours. They do nothing else but Cruiserweights for 2 months, and it won't work because there has been zero character build, zero character development, and no interesting storylines. The only interesting thing with the Cruiserweights right now has Neville's work, Austin Aries coming up, and they're quickly burning through Austin Aries, and now Perkins turning, but it still hasn't changed. He needs to change around with the turn. This is why I talk about a real-life situation for one of these guys. I don't care if it's Gallagher, Mustafa Ali, Tajiri, Kendrick. Don't care who it is. It needs to be a real-world situation. Life imitating art on television. Bring it to the people. Just create that controversy. Now, guys have to agree to it. Maybe there's backstage heat you need to bring out. Maybe there's someone who, yes, I'm going to go here. Wife cheated on them. Something to get people talking, to spark the division. These are the kind of things you need. It's a variety show with sometimes real life situations. The biggest story on WWE, honestly, is the real hate for Roman Reigns. It's not Roman the character, it's the real life hate for Roman. That's why he's the most popular guy. Because now you're forcing people, see, we're going to end on this. Because that's the only way to fix the Cruiserweight division. But I do want to make this point. You want to know why so many people might like Roman versus the mass majority who hate him? Because of the mass majority who hate him. Just think about it in your own life. If you're told constantly not to do something, don't do it. Why? Because I said so. How bad do you want to do it? Because you don't want to be told what to do. You don't want to be controlled. You're your own person. So somebody keeps telling you, don't cheer them. Don't do that because I said so. But tell me why. Because I said so, damn it. I know more than you. See, it's the ignorance of most that push the minority. And most pushback comes from the children. That's right, the children. And by the way, the children get the parents to spend the money. Remember what I talked about. Market research, WWE, the average fan is barely above poverty. Who's got more money, the parents of the kids or the average fan? I'm not even saying being poor, being broke is a bad thing. I'm not. I'm projecting what they think onto you, then cause and effect. You see, you keep telling somebody don't do something, but they have more to do about it than you do. That's what happens. It's a fight back and forth, and then WWE sees this and projects the fans to themselves. They become the story. They become the intrigue. They become the storyline. And WWE wins, and most of us who just want a good product lose. That's it for Let's Talk Wrestling here on the Riggs Beast channel. As always, let's go beast on that subscribe button. Let's go beast on that like button. And as always, guys, keep it beast.